So first I would like to talk about the cover page of the book because I see there is a puzzle on the cover which has four things: problem solver, strategy, innovator and communicator. So why did you pick up four people, four hands and four problems? So a little bit about the image on the front cover.
Sure. So again, as you know, the cover was developed by Anusha. I just gave her the brief, and she probably thought of it as a puzzle, right? So that's the starting point. And this is not a superset, right? I mean, puzzle has a lot of pieces. These are just four of them.
Few of them.
So that is the magnanimity and the complexity that we are talking about when it comes to employee engagement.
So next question for me, Chinmay, is you picked up a name called One Person Leadership.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind the name One Person Leadership?
So I wanted a bit of controversy in the title because if you read One Person Leadership, a lot of people who have started reading the book now think that this is about one person who is the leader.
Leader, yeah.
Right? But the whole purpose was to focus on the one person who is the employee, who a leader needs to work with and understand the expectations. So the underlying message, Dr. K, is that we are not in a one-size-fits-all society now, right? When it comes to even personal life or the professional life, this one person, every person that you are dealing with is unique, right? You need to tweak your leadership as per how that person's personality is. It is not about you dictating how you want them to operate, but it's about you really understanding their expectations, whether their values are aligning with your organization and you as a leader, and then tweak your leadership style to support them in their growth.
And I know in terms of consulting and leadership and technology and management, you've been working with a lot of projects and a lot of diversity. But what was the reason you picked up millennial teams as a theme of the book?
So recently and more so post-COVID, we all leaders started looking at the impact that multi-generational workforce really is making on an organization's growth. So what I mean by that is it wasn't that millennials weren't outwardly even before COVID, right? They express better than Gen X's and the generations which are older than Gen X's. But many times the way we used to perceive it was that they have the entitlement to ask for whatever they want, or they really are brash because of the upbringing, because maybe they are the only child and they were pampered. But as COVID taught us, it's about making sure that it's a give and get. It's not always take. So the whole point was, and what we learned, because we had seen a lot of attrition even in best of the organizations, and if we really looked at the outcomes of the exit interviews, we found out that while people were saying that they were leaving for better opportunities, they were saying that as leaders you haven't been flexible, right? Because you want me to do a certain job in certain time, I have a point of view on it, I'm never asked, right? So they were actually saying that this is my way of rejecting you because you are not giving me enough opportunity to express and tell me what is right for me rather than telling me what I should do to make it right.
So sometimes it may also look very contradictory when you present the data to the management, because the way they were groomed was very different as leaders. So would you like to share a small case study or some small point which most of organizations must be facing, and they need to understand and accept that we are in a different era altogether?
True. So I will just give you a very simple example, right? So in consulting, what we do towards the end of the year, that process is called moderation. So it's part of the performance management cycle where you have all the leaders coming in the room. We take every individual, we go through the data that is applicable to them based on what they've done throughout the year. And there was this instance where the practice lead who we used to work with just passed a comment. So there was this girl who was very bright and she had rated herself as 1. 1 is the best rating out of 5. So she had self-rated herself as 1, and he got up from the seat and he said, "Oh, so it means that she thinks she can take my position." So this is the kind of interpretation that leaders have. When you reach a certain position, you are so entitled and you feel that you've reached a peak which no one else can scale, which is a very incorrect attitude, right? So what this generation has taught us is that we are very expressive. We want what we want. We are communicating our expectations to you upfront. We need to come towards each other to see. I'm not saying that just give me everything that I want, right? But at least listen to me and tell me what support you can give me to reach a certain level, right? Because they are very aggressive. They want to grow aggressively. They want to work only office hours. They don't want to travel. But the more as a leader I am maturing and looking at these aspects, I feel this is also applicable to the leaders who have slogged and slogged and slogged without really taking care of themselves, without really taking care of their families, without really thinking about the people who have worked for them.
Yeah, I completely gel. On a similar note, I remember having one of the discussion with Aman Gupta, who is a Shark Tank, one of the sharks, and he is a founder of Boat Communication, where one of the largest brand for headphones.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to him, chit-chatting. He said, Kailash, biggest challenge we had and which we took over and fought with it gracefully is the kids we are hiring, they come into shorts in the office. They will have taut jeans in the office. We are in suits and ties. And he says, I'm a CA and I've never seen this kind of culture. So initially it was very difficult to adopt. But later on we understood that these are performers and company run on them. So, and we can't tell them to change because it's their world. So we had to change and they decided to change. And then now culture is very different and it's more fun, party, but a lot of work ethics also goes in. So I resemble those thoughts too. I want you to put a light on, in your subtitle you have 3 very powerful words called equity, emotion and empathy.
Yeah.
So why do you think it's a very powerful way to lead millennials?
So I'll just quickly probably reflect on the structure of the book, right? So the whole thought of writing this book emanated from the employee life cycle, which actually is a very academic way of treating employees, where you find them, you hire them, then you groom them, then you help them grow, and then they either become your evangelists or they leave the firm, right? Now, essentially, as human beings, what we want is experience, right? Be it buying a product, be it buying a service, or being employed by a known firm. What I'm trying to gain is an experience, right? What I want is an experience which will help me grow personally and professionally. So the whole story is about thinking about employee engagement rather than employee life cycle, then focusing on the expectations of every employee, how their values, their vision is aligned with the firm's and leaders' values and vision, then making sure that you broaden your horizon as a leader to accommodate that additional requirement from your employee side. But then at the same time, these aspects that I spoke about would probably cater to emotion and empathy.
Empathy, yeah.
But then the book also dwells upon why the team needs to understand the leader's perspective as well, right? It is not always about the leaders. So as a leader, if I'm leading, this partnership needs to be equitable, Dr. K. It can't be me doing everything, people not knowing what I'm going through and still saying that I'm not a good leader, right? So when you hire people, tell them what you want to achieve, what is the story that you want to deliver leading this practice, and how they can partner rather than them reporting into you or working for you or working with you. So hence these 3 words, because you need 2 hands to clap.
So wonderfully presented the thought. It is not only the leader need to understand that, but team millennials also have to look at this situation and put equal efforts to make this relationship work. If I would like to read sections, so the book is in sections and chapters for all of you. I want to read names of the sections. So we have crafting exceptional employee experience. We have importance of understanding people expectation, broadening the leadership horizon, establishing equitable partnership, and amplifying employee experience through an agile modern workplace. So there are 5 things, 5 sections, and every section has a chapter. As a leader, if you are listening to us right now, definitely this book is handy book for you to read, understand, and share with other leaders in the organization. And I would say that not only with other leaders, but this also should be given to your middle level management and even juniors to understand. We are into a different era, and this will only work when there's an equal partnership happening. I want to ask you, which was your favorite part? I know everything is favorite, and it's asking a parent saying that which kid you like more. So it's a difficult question, but still, when you were writing, what was your favorite part you enjoyed a lot when you were writing?
So throughout the book, I mean, I don't have a specific favorite when it comes to the sections, Dr. K, but throughout the book, the stories that I have written, which resonates with my real experience on the ground, is something I really liked. I mean, they have been anonymized to a large extent, but a lot of readers have come to me and said that they can resonate with the character that I have portrayed, right? So yeah, I mean that part, and then the final part as well, because see, I mean the 4 things that we spoke about, yes, an organization can work towards it, but if the overall mindset of an organization is not to become a modern workplace, the 4 things that you are talking about will not succeed, right? So it's not about having a great office, it's not about having swanky pantries, it's not about having great views, it's about having the culture of innovation, the culture of tolerance, and also the culture of embracing diversity, because different people have different ways of thinking, and they all need to work together and understand each other to get the best out of each other.
So I have a very interesting question which came to my mind, and I know you've been working across world and you have experience in all the places, all the countries geographic, but because we are launching this book in UAE, and you are present in UAE, I'm in UAE right now.
Yes.
And we also belong to one of the largest countries of the world called India. Where do you see the major challenges? As a leaders, the more challenge lies in UAE or more challenge lies in India? I know pluses and minuses are there, but what do you feel? What's your feeling? Where they need to adopt more?
Great question. So I would say I wouldn't be the leader that I am if I would not have come to Middle East, right? So before coming to Middle East, I worked in US, I worked in ASEAN region, I worked in UK. But what this region has taught me, I feel that even if I would have spent my entire life even in a developed market like America, I would not have, because what you get here, and to Swaranjali's point as well, is the diversity aspect, right? You will not believe, but in my 13 years or my 12 years in UAE, I would have probably worked with almost 70 nationalities.
Yeah.
You don't get that kind of exposure in any part of the world, and it's very important for professional growth to really understand how everyone operates when they come with a different perspective, and that perspective is driven by how you are brought up, and how you are brought up depends on where you are born, right? So it's the whole chain that you have to.
I also feel the same. When I decided to start work in UAE, initial thoughts were, before I came in here, was we are going to a country where it's more restrictive because it's a monarchy and a lot of other things, and I thought the working and leadership would be very difficult here. Rather, I found it very easy and very diverse, because 70% population is expats, and
Indeed.
And everyone brings in very powerful point of view, from their point of view, from their country, their upbringing, and what you can learn here, you cannot learn anywhere in the world. So
100%.
I also agree to the same point. Any message you want to give it to the millennials, because we've been talking a lot about leaders on their point.
Yeah.
Any message you want to give it to millennials about adopting the culture fast, or maybe looking from the leader's perspective also? I don't know. But it's message to them.
No, fair enough. I think the message probably goes to millennials, because leaders are where they are already. The only message is that if you really are aspiring to grow in your careers, and you are really aggressive about your career growth, you eventually are wanting to become a leader, right? And what kind of leader you want to become is in your hands. You really need to get the best out of the leaders that you're working with. You need to continue to express and make sure that your expectations are understood and sometimes met, sometimes not met. When not met, not feel bad about it. If the leaders would have tried enough to get you what you wanted, but they could not. And just carve out your niche as leaders, because maybe you know what you don't want to do based on the leadership exposure that you got in your careers.
I just want to add to this what I say. This generation gap would always be there. What we are facing it today, it will be there in the future to come in. So when you become a leader, you will have to face the same situation, because world is changing very, very fast.
Yes.
So if you can't understand today, you will not be able to understand tomorrow. So prepare yourself. That's what I would add to what Chinmai was saying. I would like to say to all of you again, because the book launches across world. So this book is available across world, and the experience of Chinmai is the global exposure. So if you really want to learn about people in your company, those are millennials majorly, because you don't have a choice, you have to hire them only, because those are the future. I want you to read this book. Go to Amazon, search the name of an author, which is Chinmai Talwalkar, or the book's name, which is One Person Leadership, and you will find this nice cover with puzzle. Read this book, and I want you to come back with your feedback. We are welcoming your feedback. So you can put your feedback on Amazon, or you can put your feedback on email or LinkedIn back to Chinmai. Share, how did you feel? How was your experience? What new things you learned? Even we are okay if you want to share a critic, then no, I don't find this is the right way of thinking. We are open for all discussions. And what would be the primary method, Chinmai, people can reach you out?
LinkedIn and email.
So LinkedIn and email, and both LinkedIn and email are available on the back cover of the book. Go ahead, buy this book and create a wonderful leader out of you. Whether you are leading right now or you are working, we all need to be leaders in our life. So I would like to thank Chinmai for coming.
Thank you.
Getting time out of his busy schedule, talking to us, sharing about his book. Most of all is writing this book, because writing takes a lot of knowledge. Writing takes a lot of research. Writing requires a lot of analytics, and he took time out of his busy schedule to write, publish, and he's creating more awareness. So thank you, Chinmai, for doing a wonderful job giving back to society.
No, thank you, and thanks for this opportunity. I mean, thankful to you, thankful to SIBF for the launch on this platform.
Yeah, and I'm very happy because you're lucky enough to launch a book with your parents. So
indeed.
It's a blessing.
Yes.
When your family is there with you, when you're launching your book.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And, wonderful talking to you, and we'll come back soon.